Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Jesse Peterson.
I'm Spencer.
Spencer, great to meet with you, man. Go ahead and have a seat.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for meeting with me, Jesse. I mean, our companies have been at this for quite a while now, so I'm trying to get this to go through to work with you guys. And so, as far as I understand it, we're on agreement with everything except the use, assignment, and subletting clause. Is that right?
Yep.
So that's where we stand. And so I wanted to kind of start this off. I'm a very open person. I like to communicate openly. And so really, I'm an open book. I'll tell you whatever you want. And so with that, I love when people are the same with me. And so I hope that we can have a communication that is like that as well. Something that I wanted to start off with, though, is what has you guys interested in building or having your store here at Merrimack River?
Great. Spencer, I appreciate you saying that you want to be open, and I could want for nothing more in closing out this negotiation. Perfect. I feel like it's really close, and they call us in to kind of tie up the loose ends. Isn't that how it normally goes?
Yep.
So save the best for last.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate you saying that, and honestly, we like this area. We haven't been in the Boston area as of yet. Mm-hmm. We have 200 other locations throughout the nation, but we're hoping to kind of even use this as kind of an experimental time. Okay. If this location works out well in Boston, we're going to consider maybe even some other locations here. Gotcha. So definitely looking forward to that. The economy here seems super strong. I know that there have been some ups and downs, which has us worried. Mm-hmm. As far as just the longevity, mm-hmm. But definitely a good location. Boston seems awesome. I mean, I got in yesterday, and from what I've seen, I've been really impressed with it. So. Okay,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's a great place. As you know about our company, I'm sure you did your research just like we did ours, but our company's been helping businesses develop in this area for quite a while now. And so we are experienced in the area, and we want to help you guys succeed as well, to be able to have the success that you're looking for, basically make the experiment work for you. But let me see real quick. So you guys, we admire you guys, and you guys are definitely our number one choice of what we want here in this complex, in this development. And we want you guys because you guys draw a large crowd. You guys draw a huge variety of people that are able to then make you guys successful, as well as the little shops around you. You guys are very well known. You're leading in the national retailer of soft goods. You guys are doing great. And so what we want to do is just help you guys be able to do that better. So with your guys' clause, you guys want a power, or I guess a restriction on you guys being able to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys want to have the ability to lease or sublet the whole or any part of it, right?
Correct.
And then as well, you want to be able to change the type of store you have is that right? You want to be able to, like, if you decide to take your store in a different direction, be able to do that with it. Is that correct?
Right. And I mean, obviously, when we say different direction, we're still going to be retail. Mm-hmm. I think specifically what that's referring to is just the ability to have flexibility if we decide that we want to change either every store in the chain to do a new product, or a certain region try out a new product. Gotcha. But we're not having to come to you guys and knock on your door and ask if we can sell.
For sure.
We need that kind of flexibility, just because it's a nationwide chain. It can't be tied down to one little store, if that makes sense. Yeah. As far as contracts go.
Yeah, that exactly makes sense. And sorry for all the questions. Of this lawyer mumbo jumbo, I just want to make sure we're
absolutely.
on the same page. And so we definitely understand that part. The part that I wanted to kind of get clear clarification on was the leasing or subletting it out. What is your guys' purpose behind having that in the clause? Or why do you guys include that, I guess?
Right. So, Spencer, are you married?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And I mean, I'm sure that your wife in her day-to-day doing the groceries either orders from Amazon or, I mean, maybe even nowadays you don't even have to go into the grocery store. She could probably just drive her car up to Walmart or Target and they put whatever groceries she has pre-ordered right into her trunk. So retail these days is just at this sort of crazy impasse where things are happening that were unimaginable even 10 or 15 years ago. So retail is changing very quickly, and it's a highly competitive dog-eat-dog kind of scenario.
For sure.
So we have found that it's better when we maintain the control over the flexibility of what's happening in the store so that we can stay right up with the market. We can be on the edge of the market. If you lag behind in retail, you're going to get left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So we really need that flexibility that is afforded by opening any little shop within that is going to be appealing to certain regions or throughout the nation.
Okay, so you're saying within your, so you bring in little shops that would then work within your company. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
That's been something that, I mean, has happened occasionally in the past. Sometimes we do it more than other times, but we need that flexibility regardless.
Okay. I see that. Our concern about it, and I don't know if other negotiations have talked to you about this, but our concern with that and what we found that a lot of our satellite stores, they're kind of scared of that. Because, here they are, these little guys that if you decide you see one of them having a profitable little shop, that you guys would then bring in another shop and scare them away. And so some of our satellite stores that we've been talking to have found that intimidating, that you guys would have that kind of power. And do you see where they're coming from? Like,
Spencer, I do, and I understand. I mean, maybe if I was a smaller shop, I represented that.
Yeah.
But I would say, have you ever heard the adage, "Don't let the tail control the dog"?
Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe this is kind of along those lines, but it's just these smaller tenants are the tail, and so to think that they would control the corner store or the main attraction of the mall in stipulating what we can and can't sell just seems kind of like something that's not going to work very well.
I get that, and we don't want to we are definitely more interested in meeting your guys' needs. We've kind of bent on a lot of the previous contract things or that we would have preferred in order to be more beneficial for you guys. But we do have to think about our sublet stores or our satellite stores because they do provide us the ability to be able to be financed. We have to be able to let the bank know we are going to be able to fill these stores as well as have you guys in the middle. And so they really are necessary to have, for our satellite stores to have confidence in us and in you guys is important for our financing. But I definitely get where you're coming from about not letting them control the decisions because you definitely are the more crucial part of this negotiation. And so I definitely see where you guys are coming from with that. What have you been able to look over the clause that we sent to you guys?
I believe I glanced at it briefly,
Okay.
but I mean,
I can refresh your memory.
Well, no, just as you
Okay.
mentioned, I mean, I remember the clause. It's just that, as you mentioned, it's sort of on the other end of the spectrum completely from what it's just really opposite of everything that we can even stand for as a company. So, as is, there's just no way we can go forward with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish that we could, but it just doesn't make sense And as you can imagine, me going back to corporate and saying, hey, we have all the 200 locations on par. Everybody's ready when we're ready to roll out a new product, a new advertising campaign, except for one spot in Boston.
For sure.
It just doesn't look well and it won't work well.
For sure. And, the feelings, I guess, mutual between those two clauses that we can't really move forward with your guys' clause simply because of financing. We lose our financing if we agree to that kind of clause because our supporter is no longer comfortable and doesn't think that we could be successful filling the satellite stores and such. So we're both kind of in a predicament, and that's why we're here, of course. We both know that.
So your main concern is financing then?
Yeah, you could say that our main concern is making sure that we are financed to be able to move forward in the future.
Awesome, which I totally understand that. And I mean, as far as subletting, we need that flexibility, and a lot of the companies we've worked with in the past have afforded that to us.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your main concern, then this may be a completely different scenario then. Just because it is important for us to have the flexibility. If we can have that flexibility and that, I mean, you guys are okay with us having that flexibility, like I said, we're going to do whatever it takes to bring people to your store.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so then if there's a scenario where we stop having the ability to bring in large amounts of people, we're going to have to make the necessary changes to fix that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So what you're saying, so I guess the question, or where I would go from here is how I understand like how those are important to you guys and how you why you guys need those kinds of kind of statements in your clauses. And why those kinds of things are important to you. But what, I guess, is there any leeway room, more importantly, on the subletting and leasing it out? Like, I truly believe that we can make it work if you guys are able to do what you want with the store. You guys bring in whatever product lines, you guys do whatever you guys want to do. We understand that you guys are your own company within our building. But the real problem, or I guess the hitch that we hit, is with the subletting and leasing. And so do you guys have that clause at every store that you guys have?
We typically do. Obviously, since sometimes what we have to do just to maintain the area is introduce, say, a category clause.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this will help to ease your concerns, that addresses specifically certain categories that will not be acceptable for us to sell. And obviously that's something that we don't like doing very often. But if there are certain categories, I mean, if you're worried about us selling furniture, then we're not going to sell furniture. That's typically not something we sell.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll just put in a category clause.
Okay. So you guys have had, so it's kind of like a category clause where you promise to not sell those kinds of items. And so were you able, and I assume you still found success at those stores that you guys had the category clause?
Typically, they're categories that we would never imagine selling anyway, okay. So it's not a problem. It's just for your peace of mind. I know that some people will worry that we're going to turn it into something that it's not, and so obviously we're going to stick with the similar products. It's just sort of for your peace of mind.
Okay. And so you guys have.
Okay, that's time.
Okay.
So you're good.
Cool.